I'm Eric Russell. I am out and about at Richmond Triangle Players with the cast and director of their Acts of Faith play, Hi!
H-I-G-H.
H-I-G-H. You guys wrecked me. Oh my God. This is powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. But before we get into all that and maybe a few spoilers, who are you? How are you involved with the show? Tell us who you are.
My name is George Boyd. I'm from Texas and California, and I'm the director. And I'm really happy to be working in Richmond. There are so many great actors in this town. I've been here, coming here 3 or 4 years, and enjoying seeing things around town. And so I'm happy to be here doing the show.
Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I'm Jonathan Hardison. I play Father Michael in the show. I'm from here in Richmond. I'm a local actor, and I'm happy to be. This is my first show in this space with RTP, and I'm very happy to be on board.
Melissa Johnston Price. I play Sister Jamie. And this is my 3rd show here.
In this space.
Yeah, in this space, yeah. I was in the very first show in this space. I was in Facing East. Here. Yeah.
And that was an Acts of Faith.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Also, yes.
Yes, another
yes.
So that's your second Acts of Faith? You?
Here, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I am Kyle Cornell, and I play Cody Randall. And I've done a show and a reading in this space before. So, yeah, I'm familiar with RTP, and I'm really excited to be doing this show. Pretty intense.
So let's talk about, from the director's point of view, what made you want to direct High and bring this production here to Richmond Triangle Players?
Well, they had already picked this play
Okay.
as their feature in the Acts of Faith Festival this year. And I was lucky enough that they asked me to do it, and I read it and was quite excited about it. My friend Rex Reed loves this play. He had seen the production in Boston, and then he had seen it again on Broadway, and he is a huge, huge fan. I'm sorry. Cut that.
No, he doesn't cut
We
a
don't cut anything.
My friend Rex Reed.
I love that.
Well, he loves this play, and he was very excited about seeing it, and very excited about. He loved the play and was really excited that we were going to do it.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yes.
So, did he review it when it was in New York?
Yes.
And he liked it?
He loved it, yes.
Did he really?
Really
See,
liked
Rex
it.
Reed approved.
Yes. It has
Close,
the Rex
dear,
Reed
personal
seal of approval.
That's right. So you will come see this.
And did you know that this is the 2nd time this show has been done, ever?
Yes.
You didn't know that.
I
Did
did
they
know
tell
that.
you that?
No,
Yes,
I did
okay.
my
Yeah,
homework.
did your
I do
homework.
my
Right,
homework.
right.
Gavin
So,
Turner played you. I loved you.
oh, thank you.
I mean, I wrote down ballsy, dame, heart of gold, with a past, loved it. Loved it.
Wow, that's great.
All of it.
You got all that?
Got all of that. I was paying attention.
Good.
But I think that's what drives part of the story. And getting into some of those things. This is something that I think people tend to overlook. In the media, we've made overdosing and addiction this glamorous thing. Oh, I went off to rehab and wasn't that great, and Lindsay Lohan spent so many days, and spent so many days, and Chris Bear, and then they end up ODing, and we make it this big ta-da, and we do a shrine and have a special, and then we show up at the Oscars, and then we forget about it, and we forget about the average everyday person and what they really go through, because everybody has some form of addiction.
And yours being?
And yours was.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and I think that is one of the beauties of the play, is that it does speak to how this can happen to just the average person. The playwright. This was basically his life. He was an addict. He is clean, thank the stars. But he said he tried it because he was with a guy and he wanted to impress him. And that's it. That's all it takes. And then all of a sudden, he was this wonderful Catholic boy, and he's waking up 5 years later or something, and in a ugly, dingy, nasty hotel room somewhere. Thank goodness he had the wherewithal to find help and stuff.
And I didn't even realize until we started looking at research for the show, but the recovery rates for people with addiction are
Low.
abysmally
Yeah.
low.
Yeah.
And it's not just it's not, you don't go to rehab and then once you're off it, you're cured. It's a lifelong battle that you fight with this every day, every time you get up, or if you're alcohol, every time you're around alcohol or around other people or anything, it's a lifelong battle.
Because it never ends. You always have that temptation there. They
Yes.
talk about temptation.
Yes.
It's always right back in that. I look at people that have been through some rehab, and as soon as they're out of rehab, they're right back where they started. They're right back in their situations, the same people, and the temptations are there.
It's so sad.
With the title, this is what I pulled from the title of High, because it opens with the story of the boy who could fly. You've got this very on high, it's an act of faith, going, this is the place we want to be. We want to be able to look down and see the glory and the majesty. And I look at the three people involved in the story, and this is the place that they feel they don't belong, up high. They're kind of grounded down deep, and they're letting themselves stay here because they seem to all carry this little bit of shame, that weight that holds them down so they can't move up.
Wow. Aren't you good?
Did I get it?
Yes! That was really quite
That's
profound.
what I got.
I love that.
Because each one of you has your own, we talk about lies and secrets, and lying can be an addiction.
And addiction.
Keeping secrets is an addiction. and-
Addiction doesn't have to be just to alcohol
No.
or drugs. It can be to any number of things. So,
With your character of Cody, let's talk about him. Because he's, from the beginning, he's a victim. He's damaged goods, but I felt some sympathy for Cody. I looked at him and I kept thinking when I was teaching, I would see this kid in the hallway every day going, this kid just needs a break.
Well, I think that's kind of pretty much where the main sort of tragedy comes with my character is that, once I start explaining my past, where I come from, it's almost, you're not, I guess, surprised that I am where I'm at just because of, like where I grew up. So it's sort of this thing that was kind of forced onto my character. This
you
life.
didn't choose this life.
I didn't choose it. So, yeah, I definitely think you should, I feel for my character, yeah, definitely. He does a lot of nasty, terrible things, but it comes from a place of, being very broken. So.
Because he has a moment where he feels like this is what God's given him.
Yeah, there's a
This is what he's put in my path, and this is it.
Yeah, he has this moment where he starts exploring, religion and that kind of thing, and there's kind of a moment where it's a
Little hope.
a little hope there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you hear he was 7 or 8 years old,
Yeah.
and he used to stand outside bars and pick up tricks for his mother. 7 or 8, and then she says he's selling his body for money when most kids are in school. And then obviously he doesn't go to school. He's got to read.
We discover that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then we discover there's a whole, I almost had like Father, Son, Holy Ghost trilogy going on here. That was why I'm going, okay, I've seen the whole Catholic, yes.
Yeah, okay, you picked the
Methodist who went to Mass on Sundays and Christmas and went to Lutheran church camp. Okay. Covered it all, and sometimes I go to temple. But that's how I kind of viewed it, because you made a comment towards the end, which I thought was powerful. They never told her the whole story. I'll let you figure that one out. But I thought, that's so powerful, because the foreshadowing's there. You fill in as a surrogate father figure, not only as you are a Catholic father, but we know there's a relationship deeper in there. No spoilers, sorry, you'll have to come see it. But let's talk about the relationship that you're keeping, because you hold a secret over the sister here,
Right.
and you have another secret about Cody.
Right.
And
Yeah.
those are your.
It's a lot of secrets, really. It slowly sort of divulges, but he is he's sort of a victim. He's addicted to you say he's addicted to a lot of things. He's certainly addicted to lying, and you would say that.
Helping people.
But he also has kind of a savior complex, a kind of a twisted savior complex.
The enabler.
The enabler.
I can see.
Exactly, and And it's about, it's, you know, sometimes you feel like the audience who really, like, I feel as him, like sometimes I did in the show when I didn't really know as much about addiction as I do now. He's the enabler mostly because he doesn't know how to help him. He hasn't really gotten close enough to him to really understand what it is that he needs to do, to really, really help. And she's right. I mean, he needs tough love if he's going to have any chance of surviving. But he's attached. His sister, you know, was so.
Spoiler.
Sorry. It's hard to talk about. But he went through that with her, and she was kind of sort of the black sheep of the family, and was hoping that was going to happen again. And then he got this in his life, and then of course, you know, he didn't keep in touch with the sister. It was sort of, she was sort of
When she needed him,
ostracized, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't. When it came time to do it again, he didn't know how to do it, and made a whole set of different mistakes.
And we kind of see some of that early on because you're kind of born, you're too close. You're not letting him hit rock bottom.
Right.
It's one of those things that we talk about. You can't come back up until you've actually hit the absolute bottom. Your character has this great moment where she has got to reconcile what she knows is right, what she's been told to do, but she has this feeling that she just thinks, I can save this kid, but if it goes wrong, I will not come back from this. Do you think she comes back from this, or after that, what happens?
Getting sober has always been the easy part.
Okay.
It's the staying sober. I think that she's fighting the battle her entire life, like we all do.
And she says, I fought monsters bigger than you my whole
life. My whole life, right. So, yeah, I think obviously there's a huge lesson that we all learn from this, but yeah, I think she's still fighting those monsters.
Because it doesn't have a happy ending, but life doesn't have
Life
happy
doesn't
endings.
have a happy ending, so, right.
It's
So,
a messy ending.
it's a, right,
It's a very messy,
that's a
yeah.
great, that's
It
a
is.
great word for it. It's a messy
It's
ending.
kind of,
Yeah.
As an acts of faith piece, we're looking at, a Catholic rehab center, very
This couldn't be any more
More
perfect
perfect.
for the Acts of
Catholic,
Faith
because
Festival,
we
right?
have, the enabling father, we have the ballsy, I fought Nazis, no, I don't know. And now I'm, done. But you get that whole feeling, we've got this, but these are believable people. These
Good.
people
Good.
exist.
Mhm.
Can faith be the addiction? Because the comment's made, he's not Catholic to believe in God, then he can't be saved then. Is that part of that?
Oh, you're looking at me to answer that.
Or you can answer it too. Or it's an open question.
Yes, I
Certainly is
certainly
addiction.
think so. I certainly think that you can, if given too strongly to beliefs you hold, if your beliefs hold you back from really knowing other people and understanding people in the world around you, then yes, I think faith can be a dangerous addiction. A lot of people, I'm going to get shot down, but a lot of people, I think, rightfully find comfort in religion.
Yes.
But I certainly think there's
There's a line.
an isolation
Right.
that can occur if you're not really careful.
Right.
And even what the Bible talks about helping people and going to the downtrodden, we see a lot of people who go through church, go through the motions, but don't really live the life.
Right. They don't walk the walk, talk
Right,
the talk.
exactly.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think faith can be an addiction. Yeah.
And he's rather facile with it. He says, oh, you just have to replace his addiction with faith.
Right.
Just like,
It's
That's-
that
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
Right.
and you
Yeah.
kind of go, my goodness, is that really? And then she says the same thing, I don't believe that you can have this miracle occur without asking for it. And that's her belief. So those things shift in the course of the play, I think.
And that's another good question, like, who's really asking for this miracle, this salvation?
Right.
You know, is Cody really looking to be saved? He's saying, I want serenity, I want peace. Does your character want serenity and peace? Do you want serenity and peace? Who really wants this miracle to happen? You know, can salvation happen? Can somebody overcome an addiction if they really don't want to and all they want to do is just die?
It was something interesting for me when I was sort of preparing for this show, trying to like ask those questions of myself. Because yeah, like you have a character sort of, not to give anything away, but yeah. But sort of like the journey that my character takes. It would, when I was first sort of reading the play, I was kind of struggling with that question of what's the point of all this if it seems like someone doesn't want any sort of help. So that was something fun to sort of play with and figure out for myself when by the time that the show's over.
But isn't that why AA works so well? Is that they say the first thing is that you have to give yourself over to a higher power. So I don't want this to all be not a slam against faith, but
no.
It's just
It's
that you can give yourself over to a higher power, and if you believe that enough, then that at least is the groundwork where you can start building, and I think that's right.
You look for something to inspire.
Right, and I think that's what we're trying to do to help him, is to give him that groundwork, and then he can begin to recover and pull his life together in a way he's never had it before.
Yeah, because I've sort of always thought that Cody's biggest problem is his lack of hope,
Right.
in sort of anything.
Yeah.
Does Cody actually see any hope for himself? Does he ever see that there is a light and my life can get better? Does he have moments of it? Does he see?
I think there are certainly moments, sure, where
It's not his arc. It's not his character's
Yeah,
arc,
but I
I
definitely
think there are moments where
especially
we believe that there, as an audience member,
Yeah.
I think that there's hope.
Yeah. And it's funny, we were actually having a conversation with Jonathan, talking about sort of movies that would be for me, like good research or whatever, and then we got on this topic about Requiem for a Dream and how a lot of people said that one of the themes in that movie is sort of the addiction of having an addiction to hope, kind of.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was kind of interesting how we kind of touch on that in the show a little bit too. Like they just you really want something to happen really badly, and you sort of ignore everything else that's realistic to get moving. So it's been an interesting process. I've had a lot of fun doing this little hanging out.
And you talk about AA and things. It's interesting that several times in the play, Serenity
Yes.
is
And
is
it's the
used,
Serenity
the
prayer.
Serenity prayer.
Right.
So I think it's really sweet the way that happens 2 or 3 times in the play.
And it hasn't, I almost think it takes on a different meaning. I'm going to find serenity. Is serenity that final sleep? Is serenity knowing I have done what I can and I've reached that point? Or is it the serenity of, oh, thank God it's done, it's over with, and I'm going to pretend that everything's great?
You can decide.
Yeah.
Which is it? Answers D, all of the above. What do you want the audience to take away from this performance, which is powerful and driving and thoughtful and just emotionally provoking? Because you had me crying throughout it, and I was thinking, if you can make me cry, just in that moment, because you pull us in, what do you want them to do? What do you want them to take away?
I have an idea, but I think we're probably going to get 4 different ideas here.
Yeah.
So, for me, we're all only a moment's breath away from any one of the 3 of these people. Every person in that audience, we're only a moment's breath away from that.
And we identify with all 3 of you in different ways.
In different ways, right.
Absolutely. So it's not that I'm going to end up like you, but that I've got
You've got traits of
Right.
everybody.
Yeah, it would be nice if through seeing this show, this sort of the stigma of being an addict or all, it will be kind of we would sort of educate a little bit that this really could happen to anybody. Like looking at what's going on in the news, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
literally that way.
So timely.
Yeah. So it just shows that, yeah, this, show compassion instead of fearing people who, are crazy drug addicts. There's more there. So, yeah.
I'm going to agree with that. I mean, the stigma of it is really, I think, we don't, like you said about the celebrities, we really don't learn much about it. And what I found interesting when we were looking into this is that the Catholics believe, when they're going through AA and rehab, they believe that they're powerless against their addiction. That's one of the first building blocks that you talked about, is that it's not, a lot of addicts feel like they're addicts because they're horrible people and they're weak and they're, but it's not. It's something that's separate from who you are. I think that's a very important thing for people to understand.
Do you have anything?
Oh, well, the statistics about drugs have just been staggering to me.
They really floored us when we.
One of three.
Yes, one of 3 addicts ever survives, and she even says that in one of her group sessions. And that I just find staggering. And there's something like only 6% of meth addicts ever stay clean. That, I mean, the recidivism is gigantic, and I have acquaintances who have been, in and out of Betty Ford time and time again. Doctors, dentists,
addiction knows no. Drug addiction, they always think it's poverty. Middle class, upper class, it's abused. It's people that we know. I was amazed when you find like a friend you're going, you had no idea they had an addiction and they hit it so well. Until they finally hit rock bottom, you're going, did I just ignore it, or why did we not see this?
And the last thing, I think that I hope that people will see it and not question their beliefs, but maybe strengthen their beliefs. That they just ask a lot of questions, and hopefully you come out of it and you say, well, that is what I would do in this situation, or so that I think it's also educational in a certain way. Do you follow her with tough love, or do you follow his, which in this play may not be working, but I think, as you said, we identify something about everybody, and how that all connects together in each individual would be wonderful.
I've got one more question, because sometimes we downplay our addictions and call them a vice. Oh, I'm not, it's just my... What is something you consider like your one little naughty vice? Because we all have our own little addictions, but what's one little thing you're going...
You're going to make us admit that on camera?
Lie.
Altoids is yours, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But we all have some little guilty pleasure. We're just kind of like, well, I know I really can't give them.
Oh, I know mine.
What?
Okay, so my vice is that I actually enjoy really bad reality television.
No!
Honey
Don't.
Boo, the Kardashians,
Oh,
all
honey.
about it.
Oh.
I don't know.
I'm
It's a
sorry.
disease. It's very serious.
Great.
So that's mine.
We can cure you of this.
I
We can give you PBS. It's a whole reality show.
We can give you Downton Abbey, okay? Oh my God! All right, can you think of one?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me,
I'm sure.
it's only been, I've had, this is going to sound silly, but I've had a smartphone for 3 or 4 years now, and it's I didn't even realize this until about 6 months ago, but it's always within 3 feet of me, regardless of what I'm doing my entire day long. It's within 3 feet, and if I'm like bored, if I'm sitting and it's a Saturday afternoon and I'm trying to think, what am I going to do now? I reach for it and I just start, doing stuff on the phone before I even think. There's not even a thought up to it, and I have a love-hate relationship with this thing because it's very convenient sometimes, but at the same time, I just spend so much time with my phone, and. Yeah, so.
See, I thought for sure you guys were going to say that gelato ice cream.
Well, I mean, that too.
No, that can be mine.
The Talenti.
Talenti. Talenti ice cream.
That's right.
And it is in a clear plastic bottle, so...
That has to be good. If it comes in a clear container, it's got to be.
Yeah.
My big thing is I am really addicted to social media. I I cannot get enough of seeing what other people are doing, and it's horrible because you're going, well, instead they got retweeted 75 times.
Yeah, but
What's wrong with what I
That's
said?
just staying in touch with people. That's all
Exactly.
it is.
No,
It's not an
hours
addiction.
going, who posted what? And so, but I think we all have these things. We kind of look at them and not in a way that can be detrimental.
Right.
Final thoughts. What do you want? Final thoughts. Come see the show.
Come see our show.
Come and see
We've
our show.
only
Only
done
3 weeks.
Only 3 weeks. We've only been given 3 weeks, and we really want people to come and see the show. It's such a great entry into the Acts of Faith Festival. So
It's powerful. It's a story that needs to be told that I think we ignore a lot because we don't want to look at it, and it really makes us question our faith. How can we let something like this happen? Am I really a bad person? I think you guys will pack the house, and you have really created
thank you.
an amazing, amazing story. So thank you for having me here tonight.
Thank you.
And thank
We really
Richmond for
appreciate it.
having me here to do a show.
Yes.
You'll have to come back, because I'll have you back and do something else.
Oh.
This is amazing. I'm Eric Russell. I am out and about with the cast of Hi here at Richmond Triangle Players. Tickets are available at rtriangle.org. You never know where I'll turn up next, so tune in next time. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.